Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you for coming back to the channel. This is going to be a sick review of one of the best busts I have ever seen in my life. And before we even get into it, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you subscribe to the channel, make sure you share these videos, and all that stuff. And also hit the 4K option, so you get this video and the way it was shot, and because trust me, you don't want to miss the details on this thing. So this bust was released in, I think, like 2019, maybe somewhere around 2020. It was put out by a company called Queen Studios, and it is a silicone bust, which is a little bit different than some of the other busts, or resin, which is normally used, or polystone or something like that. It is absolutely amazing. I mean, when I say this is one of the best examples of like a true art piece, I am not kidding. You guys have seen some of the 1/6 scale custom pieces I have. You guys have seen some of the other busts that I posted and the recent review that I did. This stands out, man. I mean, it is absolutely incredible. I mean, when I say museum quality kind of art piece, it is sick, absolutely sick. And it is based on Terminator 2, Arnold Schwarzenegger, battle damage version, towards the end of the film. Like many of you, I was born in 1980, I was born in the 80s, specifically me, 1980. So I was an 80s and a 90s kid. This is one of those movies that absolutely defines your childhood if you love film. You folks out there who aren't into movies and aren't into TV shows and are outdoors people, that's awesome. So am I. I like to get outdoors, but I can't imagine. I mean, it's so weird coming across people that aren't into movies and don't watch them. I mean, it doesn't mean they have any less of an imagination or anything like that, but it's just, I don't know, man. I mean, these experiences, the escapes they give you, it's just absolutely incredible. And again, this is one of those movies that absolutely defines, your childhood. I mean, Gremlins, Back to the Future, it's up there on that scale. I mean, this movie was really a classic film. It's going to hold up the test of time, for many, many generations to come. And it's just fantastic. I mean, I don't know what else to say. It's just so impressive. It almost leaves you speechless. So, Queen Studios did a tour of this piece around some Comic-Cons around 2018, 2019, took it around, and it blew people away. And it's just, I don't know, man. You guys are going to see for yourself. Let's flip it over, and I'll see you guys on the other side of the actual review. We're going to show this guy from the bottom first, and the base is pretty cool. It's reminiscent. It got some Skynet influence. Obviously at the end of the film, they're in that factory. It's very industrial, ish or esque. And Xenomorph, when he did his review on this, he actually pointed this out. As you can see, like on the T-800 front of the base, where it says Terminator, there's like this weird little space, that does throw you off a little bit, but, other than that, the base is cool, man. There are some people that didn't like it, there's some people that do like it. I don't have a problem with it. It's got a decent paint app, it's nothing crazy, but it props it up, the base, it props the bust up a little bit more, and gives it a little bit more presence, and that's what you want. So, and as you can see on the chest, you have the exposure of the endoskeleton there, and some people have complained that it's not chrome, it's not shiny enough, but honestly, in the film, I don't think it was actually that shiny anyway. Because again, you have to remember, he was battle damaged, you know what I mean? And he's not going to be all shiny and crisp like he just came out of the factory, right? So you got to understand that. So it's got a little bit of residue, as you can see, from the skin and the damage. But I really do wish, maybe around the skin itself, it was a little bit more saturated or glossy. You know what I mean? Had a little bit more shine to it there. And as we go up to the main attraction on this piece, the sculpt here on the neck, you can see the carotid arteries, and the vein. That's really, really cool. You see some of the impact shots of the bullets on the neck. And as we go up to this magnificent sculpt, man, I mean, just wow, dude. I mean, this is pretty damn close to the prototype. And it's all about how you light it, man. I mean, people did some videos that didn't make it look all that good. People took some photos, when it first came out with their cell phones, which made it look like complete garbage. And I've always talked about this in lighting. You got to be careful, how you take pictures, and even almost how you open your products when you look at them. And there's this myth, spread around, in the 1/6 hobby or just in customs in general that, oh, a good paint application, is going to look good in any light. That is 100% bullshit. You can take a Monet, you could take a art piece or a painting from one of the best sculptors in the world or artists in the world, whether it's Da Vinci or Michelangelo or frickin' you know what I mean? Or like I just said, a Monet or something like that. And you can make it look like garbage. I've seen folks where they open up their figures and they display them in some of the worst light possible in their basement, or they don't display it at all in any proper lighting, or up in they open it up in their living room or something, and they have horrible lighting on their on the piece as they open it, or it's harsh onto the face, and it makes it look like garbage. It's the same thing in makeup in movies too, guys. Like depending on how you color grade or the film profile or how it's lit, you can make a makeup look completely like shit. We've all had that girl where we dated, where sometimes they look fantastic, you know, in certain light with their makeup, and then in other times you're like, whoa, what happened? But anyway, I digress there, but you guys kind of get what I mean. It's one of the biggest myths, trust me. You can make one of the best paint applications look like garbage. And I have some 1/6 scale pieces that are painted by some of the best in the business, and I guarantee you I could make it look like complete shit if I took it with a cell phone, or if I was looking at it in a certain type of light. These pieces, when they're sculpted, you know, the artists are using a certain kind of light as they paint them, because they want to know how they display and how they look. You know, that's the way this usually works. So again, you want to display these pieces right, you know what I mean? You know, I mean, this is a true art piece. And as you can see from how I have it lit, it's fucking fantastic, man. It is really an impressive piece. And as we go up to the hair, I wanted to mention something, because a guy in one of the groups had mentioned this, had said like the first run, or like the first 50 or something like that, you know, had black hair, and then the later middle to the end run, so they made 99 of these. So from like 45 or 49 to 99, they fixed the hair supposedly, and they made it more auburn or something like that. Dude, I don't know how to say this, but if I had a different version that had auburn hair, I would be really, really pissed off and upset. Because number one, you guys have heard me mention this in prior reviews. I am all about on-screen reference on what it looks like in the movie, especially during the battle damage scene and the darker scenes of the film, and even in some of the scenes where he's inside, his hair looks dark brown. The initial run, I mean, I can't speak to other pieces, but my hair on mine is not black, it is dark brown. And even in some of the scenes, as I'm throwing up here hopefully too as well that you can see, his hair looks dark, it's a dark brown. And it does not look that auburn in the film. And especially towards the scene where they're in that factory, his hair is very dark, and I want it to look like it does in the movie. So if I had this displayed, you know, sitting there in my corner all lit up, and it had freaking auburn bright hair, brown hair, I would look at it and it would constantly be an eyesore to me, because I'm like, ah man, he didn't look like that in the movie. So whether or not he has auburn hair, like, you know, in real life, I don't care what he looked like off screen or in some of the brightest points in the film with the sundown on him, like maybe when he was outside on the motorcycle and they were escaping from the mall. No, and even those parts of the scene, you can probably still see that his hair is darker brown. So if they really did that, if they really adjusted the hair and actually made it lighter, man, I would be really tweaked and pissed off, because every time I would look at it, it would just not look like on-screen reference to me. And I don't know, I would just be really pissed off if I was one of those people. So I really hope that guy was wrong. I really hope that they did not do that. And Queen Studios, man, oh, if you actually listened to the fan base or the collector base on that one, that was not a smart thing to do. You know, I understand collectors, I understand you know, some of the ideology that we have and some of the belief systems that we have, but you have to sometimes realize that you have to come back sometimes at collectors and say, trust me, you don't want this a brighter color. This is how it looked in the film. You guys want it how it looked in the film, or do you want it how he looked off screen? You know, off screen reference, or only in a few scenes in the movie where his hair looked brighter. 100 times over, I want it screen reference and how it looks in the film. So Queen Studios, if you guys actually did that and changed the hair color, man, I really hope, again, I'm really happy that I have one of the earlier runs then. Because if I had auburn, brighter brown hair on mine, and again, for this specific scene and what it portrays in the movie, I'd be fucking pissed off. I'd be really, really angry. But anyway, let's move on. So as you can see, we'll flip this guy around to the back, and you can see, you know, where the neural net processor is, you know, the Skynet chip, where that was. That would have been cool if they actually included that, but they didn't. You know, it's okay. And, you know, all this hair is hole punched. And as we flip it around back to the front, you know, you see the hairline. I mean, all this is hand hole punched. and it is absolutely incredible. From what I understand, it took about 40 hours to actually do the hair on each of these. So I can understand why they only did a limited run of 99. It's definitely reasonable. I mean, it's painstaking. I can't even imagine. And the paint application on the side of the face is pretty good. Some of the battle damage, again, maybe a little bit of gloss, around the damaged sides, some kind of gloss seal or something to give you more of that wet look. But, in the film, I don't think it probably looked like that. So it's probably pretty screen accurate for the most part. I watched this movie last night, and I don't remember really seeing a lot of gloss to it, so I think it's probably pretty accurate for the most part. And as you can, I don't know if you guys can see this, but you can see some of the teeth on the side in there behind one of the pistons in the jaw. And the eye, of course, lights up, as you can see. And that's really cool. A really nice addition. You have an adapter in the back that basically plugs in. And, I probably wouldn't keep it on for long periods of time because eventually, bulbs do blow depending on what they use. If it's an LED type light that's in there, that may last for decades. But if it's not, then, you may blow it out eventually. And I'd probably be cautious on leaving it on too long as well because, I mean, I had it on for the majority of watching Terminator 2 last night, and I didn't notice any significant heat production coming from it. So you're probably going to be okay. But again, I would probably use a little bit of caution around that. So, just again, backing out, looking at this thing globally, I am just floored and blown away at how impressive this piece is. It is just mind-blowing, guys. It's so good. I mean, I sold, and people are probably going to ask, how much did you pay for this thing? From what I understand, these things range anywhere from about like $6,000 to $8,000 in the aftermarket. They were originally around probably $3,000 or something like that, with or without shipping, or maybe with shipping, it was around $3,500 or something. But these now go for somewhere around like $6,000, $8,000. None of this came out of my own pocket. I sold some customs that I really did not want to part with, stuff that gave me palpitations to actually sell. But I did it, and I don't regret it for the most part. I am going to miss those pieces, but it is what it is. I sold 4 pieces, and I was able to grab this from a collector at the right time, right place, and I am ecstatic. I'm absolutely ecstatic. I'm really, really impressed with this. I couldn't be more happy. So I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and that's all really I wanted to share with you guys, is show you the dynamic presence of this thing. It is incredible. I will never need another Terminator 2 collectible in my entire life, ever again. I was in the process of thinking about maybe getting the Enter Bay 1/4, but now that I have this, no way, guys, no way. So for those of you who also want a size comparison as well, here you go. This is me by the man himself. Yeah, yeah. But as you can see, this guy is huge, huge. And I don't know if you guys saw it, you had to have in the review, but even the little inserted hairs in the chin that he has too, and below his lip, that 5 o'clock shadow, it's just incredible what they did here. Absolutely incredible. Yeah. So that's it, guys. I hope everyone enjoyed that review, and I know I'm slow with getting some of these reviews out. I'm still going to put a review out for the Terrifier eventually. I'm still going to do one of Pennywise, and I think those are probably going to be on the forefront, over the course of the next couple weeks. So I usually try to bang out like one a week. It's really hard to try to cram in 2 videos, and all the editing that's involved, man. I lose like an entire weekend or a day. So I got other stuff I got to do. People got lives. A lot of us are married. We have kids. We have families. We can't eat, sleep, and breathe this stuff, man. I'll eat, sleep, and breathe this hobby, but I can't eat, sleep, and breathe this channel. If that makes sense. So, all right, guys. As usual, like, subscribe. Share this content, man. And again, hit the notification bell if you want, those immediate, pop-ups on your phone when I release videos. And that's about it, guys. So deuces, and peace out, and I'll see you at the next video.